What a sweet romance.
Pretty well.
Again.
Pretty well.
In Stanley Kubrick's 1986 Vietnam War film Full Metal Jacket, R. Lee Ermey would become famous as Marine drill instructor Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. 20 years earlier, Ermey had been a real sergeant, training Marines to go to Vietnam.
In 1966, the sky fell in on us. The roof caved in, and all of a sudden, they needed warm bodies in Vietnam. Now we're picking up 120 privates, which if you line 120 privates up, boy, oh boy, it looks like a mule train. So we got twice as many privates. We've got 4 weeks left to train them in. But yet, now, we're not just infiltrating these privates into modern-day Marine Corps. Now we're sending these privates to Vietnam to fight the war.
From 1966 through 1973, sergeants in the Marine Corps trained over 335,000 new recruits. All of them came through the Marine Corps recruit depots in Parris Island, South Carolina, or San Diego, California, where Lee Ermey served from 1966 through 1968.
You can't hold yourself responsible, but you feel that you are. You feel that you have a lot to say about whether they're prepared to go into combat or whether they're not. There's not a sergeant in the Marine Corps that doesn't feel that they're ultimately responsible, totally responsible for each and every individual in their command. And I think the drill instructors were under tremendous pressure back in those days.
When the Marine Corps basic training was cut to 8 weeks, it added additional pressure to the sergeant's job. The shortened time to get recruits ready for war made an intense process even more fierce.
I didn't know anyone that didn't raise a hand to a private, but it was a constructive raise of a hand. It was not a, I want to hit you so that I can hurt you and abuse you type thing. It was a, did you learn anything from that private? Which side was that private pile? Right side, huh? Or left side? What side was that private pile? He knows forever, the rest of his life, he knows which side's this, which side's the left side of his face and which side's the right face.
The world got a dramatic close-up look at sergeants training recruits when Full Metal Jacket was released.
Sir, I said it, sir!
Well, no what have we got here? A comedian, private joker. I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and my sister. You little scumbag. I got your name. I got your ass. You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you. Now get up. Get on your feet.
My main objective was just basically to play the drill instructor the way the drill instructor was. Now let the chips fall where they may.
You had best yourself or I will unscrew your head and down your neck.
Sir, yes, sir!
Private Joker, why did you join my beloved corps?
Sir, to kill, sir!
So you're a killer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Let me see your war face.
Sir!
You got a war face? Ah! That's the war face. Now let me see your war face.
Ah!
Bullshit! You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face.
Ah!
You don't scare me. Work on it.
Sir, yes, sir!
You can ask any drill instructor who was down there in 1965, 1966. That's exactly the way the drill instructor's demeanor was. There was no punches pulled. Marine Corps never did condone maltreatment. It's always been against regulation. It's always been against the law. But our workload was just terrible. So rather than drop him down for 25 push-ups, it was real simple and real quick for me just to walk past him and drop him to his knees with a little shot in the solar plexus and a little verbal chastising right there on the spot. Now get up and let's rock and roll, and let's learn and let's train.
The script received an Academy Award nomination, but many of Ermey's lines were taken straight from his experiences during the war.
And the way we did it was we would discuss this scene. Kubrick would punch the button on his tape recorder, and I would go on and off, or whatever you want to call it, until I ran out of gas. I'd do it 3 or 4 times. and then we would take the tape and we would send it down to the production secretary. She would transcribe that and send it back up to us. And we would just select the juiciest lines out of this 10 or 12 pages of typewritten dialogue. Just pick the juiciest lines and incorporate those into the scene. The thing on his agenda when he got into that mess hall was to head right for that table because Stars and Stripes newspapers were there. And we would go right to the back page, and it was the obituaries from Vietnam. And you'd read down, and if any of your guys were on there, it was painful, very painful. You're not mad at them. It's my thing that's going through my mind is, are all the other privates able to hear me? Should I? Let's see. We're pretty close to the front of the platoon. I should face him instead of facing square into him. I need to face this way so all the rest of the platoon, each individual in the platoon, can hear exactly what the hell I've got to say to Private, whoever it is.
This thing is done. That's what damn me.
I'm a firm believer that the greatest instructors in the Marine Corps today and in yesteryear have always been just damn near stand-up comedians.
You just want to get to know me better, huh? Huh? Shut up.
Contrary to popular belief, learning how to do a right face when it's about 95 degrees in the shade is not really very much fun. And it's not so interesting either, so you do really have to keep their attention. I never had a soft side with them. I don't have a soft side with you. I don't have a soft side with any damn body. So I can take a private that can do 9 pull-ups, and damn it, by the time I finish talking to that private, he can do 12. Why? Because I've intimidated this private so severely that I've convinced him that he can do 12 or he's going to die. That's why. And so when it starts to be painful, he doesn't quit.
Okay, boys, for the month of July, your tales are mine. You're gonna walk, talk, eat, and sleep military might. The whole month is weapons, heroes, and history. Do you have something to say to me?
Grandpa, your burgers are burning.
Whoops. Eddie's.
Call Grandma.
From battleships to airships, the 4th of July begins July 10th at 9 on the History Channel.
Flip those burgers. 1, 2. Come on, soldier. This ain't no picnic.
These privates into modern-day Marine Corps. Now we're sending these privates to Vietnam to fight the war.
From 1966 through 1973, sergeants in the Marine Corps trained over 335,000 new recruits. All of them came through the Marine Corps recruit depots in Parris Island, South Carolina, or San Diego, California, where Lee Ermey served from 1966 through 1968.
You can't hold yourself responsible, but you feel that you are. You feel that you have a lot to say about whether they're prepared to go into combat or whether they're not. There's not a sergeant in the Marine Corps that doesn't feel that they're ultimately responsible, totally responsible for each and every individual in their command. And I think the drill instructors were under tremendous pressure back in those days.
When the Marine Corps basic training was cut to 8 weeks, it added additional pressure to the sergeants.
Midnight, Lord, our sweet romance.